All right, you guys. So I have been looking at some news articles for Atomfall and essentially just kind of getting an idea of where the development team may be at in terms of like continuing to work on this game and what plans they have for the future. And so far, I must say it looks very promising. Of course, they have said that they're hoping to get squeeze out at least two story DLCs for this particular installment of Atomfall. They have been talking about Atomfall 2 and what they would like to do with it, and perhaps exploring events outside of the zone in the second game. I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea. Maybe. I don't know. But as far as the DLCs for the game, they have said that they want to do something that takes the narrative in perhaps in a different direction. They want both the Wicked Isle and the story DLC that comes after that to sort of take different directions. I hope this means that perhaps they'll explore the obvious folk horror vibes they have going on with some of the aspects of the story. That would be cool. Also, it would be neat if maybe they would do a little prequel DLC that kind of explores the events that led up to the initial event. That would be cool. That would, in my mind, that would be perhaps the thing to do, to start to end the first game off in terms of its DLC stuff with a little, history lesson, right? Because you saw that in like Metro Exodus, where there's the metro system that you visit at the end of Metro Exodus. And there's a DLC that goes back, it's called Tale of Two Colonels, goes back and tells you about the events that led up to the terrible tragedy that you come upon when you get into that metro. So they could do something like that, maybe give us a little story through the eyes of somebody who was working here or lived in and around this area. That would be a cool DLC idea, I think. But to me, it feels like there could be way more DLCs prospect than just two, because I kind of looked at the map a little bit, kind of just staring at it in terms of like how the three sections of the game are divvied up on the map, and there looks to be at least, I want to say, three or four areas that seem hidden from us. So there, it looks like, depending on how well the two DLCs do, perhaps there are more DLCs they will release for the game while they're figuring out what they want to do with Atomfall 2. Of course, Rebellion did note that they would love to do a sequel, but they're going to have to wait and see because, I mean, if they don't have the money to do it, and I get that. Again, just because over 1 million people were playing this game does not mean, like, that doesn't translate into sales. I'm currently working on an order from Rebellion. I want to get, I'm buying like a couple coffee cups and a t-shirt, Atomfall themed merchandise, maybe help them out. They also mentioned that they're going to be working on a 4-part comic book series that correlates with the universe, Atomfall universe. That sounds really cool. Unfortunately, it's only digital right now, so I'm really hoping maybe we'll get a physical copy, the option to purchase a physical copy of that comic book collection when it comes out. So anyway, there is talk of at least two story DLCs. At least. They both want to go in wildly different directions. That's intriguing. There's also a lot of excitement at Rebellion for the prospects of a sequel for this game, perhaps exploring events going in, happening around the zone, not so much in the zone. Interesting idea. Interesting idea, but I think if they would kind of build onto this zone a little bit, right? Maybe some hidden parts of the zone, previously undiscovered areas that were impacted by the initial event, you know, and they could work that out. I don't know. It's a possibility. But in terms of like things I'd love to see for Atomfall, I would love to see the your character be able to complete like little side quests for the traders in and around the zone. It seems to me like that would be a great idea to, perhaps the traders have a little bit of a grocery list and they surely could use your help and you kind of scour that area looking for much needed materials for somebody. That would definitely help keep the game going for those of us who are really having the time of our lives. You think it's a little game, but the more you play it, the bigger the game gets. Like it's pretty awesome. So anyway, I just wanted to cover some Atomfall news because everybody just kind of no offense, but everybody just kind of like fucked off, right? Early on, a lot of people were talking about Atomfall, and then other things happened, right? They always want to go back to what gets them the most views, and of course, Atomfall is this little game that could. So yeah, they just kind of like rode the hype wave, and now they're off to find something else that'll get them views. But I would like to stick with this title, and if nobody else is keeping you guys up to date on things going on with Atomfall on YouTube, or maybe not a whole lot, maybe I can add my voice to that. So anyway, that's all I got. Hopefully we hear more about the Wicked Isle DLC that'll be coming out when. Well, I don't know. They're very quiet, and I hope that being quiet is a good sign that Rebellion is working passionately on expanding what they have accomplished here, and I am looking forward to that so much. Anyway, that's all I got for now. You all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, and we'll catch you on the flip side.